if you have a Canada visit visa and you're thinking of visiting Canada on that visit visa soon, then please do not skip this video. I'm actually not very happy making this video, and the reason is simple. It's because I have talked about this issue of converting visit visa to work permit several times, but I see a lot of people still making the same errors, still coming to Canada without any plan. I'm not happy. I'm angry. Okay, fine. It is true that Canada is issuing visit visas, especially to those that they have held onto their visa since 2020. They are giving it out like Father Christmas. And then on top of it, they've issued a temporary policy that allows people to apply for work permit inside Canada, even with a visit visa. And then I see that a lot of agents are selling these things to people, and they are not telling them the entire truth. People are coming here and they are frustrated. So today, I want to talk about the visitor visa and all the things that your agent did not tell you. I'm going to expose all of this here. And if you have a visit visa and you're thinking of coming to Canada with it, you're going to know what to do as long as you watch this video till the end and you follow the instructions that are here. So that agent has told you that you can change your visit visa to work permits. They've made it sound so easy. They've sold visit visa to you. Some of you even wanted for them to do work permit for you, but they did visit visa, and they are telling you that, look, you can go to Canada and you can convert it to work permits. So the question now is, can you actually convert your visit visa to work permits? Can you change it from visit visa to work permit? I like to say no, because I don't see it as a change. What you can actually do is that while you're in Canada, you can apply for a job. And if you get a job offer, you can then apply for a work permit inside Canada. Now, before this temporary policy, if you had a job offer inside Canada on a visit visa, you would have to go and apply for the work permit outside of Canada. That means you have to leave Canada. But with this new policy, you can apply for your work permit inside Canada. You don't have to leave Canada. And if your work permit is approved, you can start working in Canada. Your agent has made it sound so simple that immediately you come, the jobs are available, you just apply for work permit. You don't just apply for work permit. It is the truth they're telling you, but it is an exaggerated truth, because you don't just apply for the work permit. You have to actually get a job before you're able to apply for a work permit. So if your intention is to come to Canada on a visit visa and stay permanently in Canada by getting a job and converting your visit visa to a work permit, then listen up. You need to know these three things. Number one is that your visit visa is time bound. Now, usually by law, on a visit visa, you cannot stay in Canada for more than 6 months at a time. So which means that if you stay more than 6 months, you have violated your visit visa. So before you pack your family and come to Canada on a visit visa with the hope of staying permanently, you need to know this. The second thing you need to know is that 9 out of 10 people who have come to Canada on a visit visa have not been able to convert it to a work permit. They have not been able to get a job. They are frustrated, and time is running out on them. So know these statistics before you come. And then number 3, how can you rent a house when you don't have a SIN? Now, a SIN is a social, like your social security number if you're in the US for Canada. It is this number that gives you the right to work, because your employer will ask of this number. If you go rent a house, your landlord or intending landlord will want to see your job offer, which means that they want to know that you have a job and you have the ability to pay rent. So if you don't have a SIN, and you don't have somebody who is going to accommodate you in Canada, you might end up staying in a hotel or an Airbnb. And trust me, those things are not cheap. They are not cheap. So please know these 3 things. Number 1, you might not be able to rent. Number 2, your visit visa is time bound. Number 3, you might not be able to get a job. Now, why am I saying you might not be able to get a job? I'm going to tell you a few truths about getting a job in Canada as a visitor. So before an employer in Canada can hire you as a visitor for a job, they have to get what is called an LMIA. Now listen very carefully, jot it down or write it. An LMIA is a labor market impact assessment. Now this is a document that the employer needs to get before they can employ a foreigner like you who is in Canada on a visit visa. Now the things about the LMIA is that, number one, LMIA is not free. The employer has to pay like $1,000 or $1,100 to get it. Number two, the employer has to prove that they have tried to get a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident to do the job, and they could not. Now, Canada is trying to avoid a situation where Canada permanent residents and citizens start complaining of inability to get jobs because foreigners are coming to steal their jobs, in quotes. So an employer that wants to hire a visitor has to show, they don't just say it, they show that they have actually advertised this job for about 30 days and no Canadian or permanent resident is available or willing to do the job. That now gives them a right to hire you as a visitor. Now, the problem is that a lot of Canadian employers, number one, they don't even know about this process. Number two, the ones that know the process do not want to go through the stress. I mean, they don't want to spend the monies. They don't want to spend the time trying to advertise a job and prove that they have an LMIA. There are so many people in Canada on a work permit, study permit, permanent residents, and citizens who can do the job. So why will an employer not just take someone who already has the right to work in Canada rather than taking you who is a visitor? And that is why the statistics of visitors in Canada who are able to get jobs is very small. I don't know if you listen to the news or if you talk to people who live in Canada, you would hear that there are lots of people living on the streets, visitors that came to Canada, thinking that when they come, they'll just get a job on day two. Some of them came with their entire families, small children suffering like this because their parents did not have a plan and did not get proper information before coming to Canada. I don't want you to be like that. Please be wiser than those who have come before you. And that is why I am making this video and spending the time to explain this process to you. So how can you get this LMIA? Should you pay for LMIA? Because I get a lot of people asking me that there's someone who wants to sell LMIA to them. Should they pay? Is it genuine? Is this company real? You want to pay for LMIA. Number one thing I want to say is that these LMIAs are very expensive. Now, there are recruiters in Canada and companies who have LMIAs who can easily hire foreigners, but they want to make money out of this. Some of them are brown skinned like us. They want to make money, Indians, Nigerians, all sorts. They are selling LMIAs for as much as $25,000, $35,000. Do you know how much $25,000 or $35,000 is to pay for LMIA? And you want to pay? I'm amazed. So you have $35,000 to pay for LMIA. Okay. Even if you have that money, how do you know the LMIA is real? There are lots of fake LMIAs out there. I have seen people who have complained of paying for LMIAs, and at the end of the day, the LMIAs were fake. Forget about what you're hearing on social media. I know there are a lot of YouTubers and people on TikTok and people on Instagram saying that it is easy to convert your visit visa to a work permit. They are the ones that have been gingering you and gingering other people to pack their entire family and come to Canada on a visit visa. And then some of them also tell you that you can buy LMIAs. But don't forget, like I said, LMIAs can be fake. Yeah? And don't forget, you also need an LMIA and a job offer. And in your application for work permit, you also need to show that you're qualified to do the job for which you've been made an offer. So you'll be thinking now, so Shay, what are you saying? Are you saying that people don't get, like visitors in Canada don't get LMIA job offers? I didn't say that. They do get. A very small percentage gets. And the people that get the LMIA job offers do three things. I'm going to mention these three things. You need to open your ears very well and listen and make sure that you're also doing these three things. Number one is persistence. These are people who don't give up. You see those people now who are like a dog with a bone. I heard a story of someone who got a job here. He came for a conference and he was like, I'm not leaving this place without a job offer. He was applying every day. He was working on his CV, working on his cover letter, reaching out to employers, and eventually he did get a job offer and he was able to apply for his work permit. But some of us, we apply to one job, two jobs, and you're like, no, nobody's calling me, and we give up because we expect it to be easy. Don't forget that you're a visitor. It's not going to be easy. The second thing is that network. You need to network. getting a job in Canada, ask anybody, is primarily networking. You know why? Because a lot of companies will not put their job offers on Indeed or on Glassdoor. Sometimes they advertise in-house, or they tell people to recommend people that they know. So it's your friend or your friend's friend or somebody in church who would know that there's even a job offer in that company. You will not see it anywhere. You will not see it on any website. You will not even see it on the company's website. So you need to be reaching out to your network. If you have friends and family in Canada, talk to them. Tell them to talk to their friends. Tell everybody that you meet, that you know anywhere in Canada, that you're looking for a job and they should help you. Be nice to people, yeah, so that they can be nice back to you. Reach out to people in church, reach out to people on the streets, reach out to people primarily everywhere. And then LinkedIn is another great place to connect to people. Go to job fairs. If you hear a job fair, go everywhere. Please, you need to utilize your network if you want to get a job offer here in Canada. The third thing is location. I know some people will not hear this one because they have friends in Toronto, Mississauga, or Edmonton, or in Victoria, and they want to stay in these towns. Yes, these towns are lovely. They are good places to stay. But this might not be the place where you're going to get that job offer and LMIA that you're looking for. You know why? Because these big cities have a lot of people who they can choose from. They are not looking for employees, yeah? They are not begging for employees, so to speak. So why would they go for a visitor? There are so many people that are qualified, that have work permits, that have the right permit to work in Canada. Why would they choose you? The places that might be looking for your skills and looking for you are places like the small towns, small villages, the rural areas, those places that you don't want to go to. They have maybe 12,000 people living in the town. You need to be considering those places. Consider those places. What you're here for is to get a job offer. It doesn't matter whether it's inside a rural village. The most important thing is that you get that job offer, you get your work permit, eventually you get permanent residence. The most important thing is that you're able to stay permanently in Canada, whether the village, whether it's in a village or a small town. Yeah, you don't have to stay in a big city. Consider how much you're paying in a big city, yeah, for Airbnb, a hotel, or rent, and then you're spending all this time and you're not getting that job. Wouldn't you rather go to a small village or a rural place and get the job? They are looking for you there, looking for your skills. Meanwhile, you're in Toronto, slaving it out and not making a headway. Please look at these three things: your network, your persistence, and then location. And I'm sure by the time you utilize these three, you have a good chance of getting a job in Canada. So I know you're asking, is there no way forward? Like, Shay, what is the way forward? Of course, there's a way forward. Now, what you need to do if you have a visit visa and you want to come to Canada and you have the intention of staying, you need to have a plan. Don't come here without a backup plan. Don't come here without a plan at all. Don't come like someone who just comes, packs your whole family and come, but you don't have a plan. The first plan that you must have is that you will go back. If this doesn't work out the way you want, or the way you planned, or the way you have envisioned, have a plan to go back to your country. You can only stay 6 months at a time on a visit visa. So go back and come back some other time, when you have a more solid plan or a more solid strategy in place, because you've already been here, one or two things that you can put in place before you come the second time. Number two is that you can plan to apply for study permits. Okay, fine, I get it. You might not want to study because it's expensive, because you don't want to study, you want to work. I get it. But like I said, have a plan B. You can make study visa your plan B. And what you can do in that area is that number one, you can do your upfront medical just before you come to Canada on a visit visa. Go into one of the panel physicians that IRCC has authorized to do medicals and tell them you want to do upfront, so you have your medicals at hand. Second thing you can do, start looking for schools. Look for admission, especially in the province that you're going to. Look for a school there that you can apply to. If you can, apply to the school. So if your work permit doesn't work out, if you don't get an LMIA, you know that you fall back on that, yeah? I know that some of you will still not here. People will still come here without a plan. Have a plan B. Don't just come and think that it's going to work. What if it doesn't? Always ask yourself, yes, I know, have hope, have faith. That is something that I preach, but always think about what will happen if it doesn't work. What's your plan B, your plan C? You can even have a plan D, yeah? So the plan C that I would suggest is that you might think of going to apply for asylum. Now, asylum, a lot of people will come as on visit visas. I see them even at the point of entry, they just declare asylum. They don't even have knowledge, they don't have information. Just go to the point of entry and say, I want to declare asylum. Now, before you declare asylum, you need to know a few things. Asylum is not automatic. It's not automatic for you to be granted permanent residence just because you said, I want to declare asylum, I'm a refugee. What you need to think about is, number one, are you coming from a country that is at war? Is your life being persecuted? Are you in danger? So what I'm trying to say is, what is your asylum story? Why are you seeking asylum? Why are you asking Canada to be a refuge for you? What is your story? If your asylum claim is refused, don't forget that you will be given a deportation order. A deportation order will be placed on you, which means that you have to leave Canada. Yeah, these are the things that I think that you should put in place. So apart from being persistent, working towards getting what you've come here to get, don't forget to network very well. Go to those small towns that might be looking for people like you. Don't stick to the big towns. You must not be in Ontario or BC or Quebec. You can be in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, any of those regions. The most important thing is you want to get a job, an LMIA work permit, and eventually a permanent resident for yourself and your family. And please, before you pack your children, I'm so concerned about children. I'm not even worried about you who is an adult. I guess you can hustle and you can survive, but children are tender. Yeah, so don't bring them to Canada without a proper solid plan. Yeah, no matter what your agent is telling you, no matter what you're hearing people say that my friend did this, did that, that friends and family sometimes put us inside trouble. Don't listen to them. Do your research. Everything I've said here is like the Bible. So if you're planning to come to Canada on a visit visa, make sure you watch this video from the beginning to the end. You like it, you subscribe to the channel, you share the video so that a lot more people who need this information will get to see it. Okay? If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any topics that you want me to talk about, I always ask you to tell me. That I got a lot of requests for this particular video, and that's why I'm making it. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.